Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to For the Shoe Friday. And we are obviously going to be talking nothing but Colts all podcast long. I'm the host of the channel. My name is Curtis Brown. Welcome to Curtis Podcast Network. And with me, as always, Jeff Steckel, our resident Colts fan. And with us, a special guest. We are going to be joined by Alex. I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
Boyajian.
I'm sorry?
Boyajian. It's a hard one.
Boyajian. I
Yeah.
like that. I like that. Okay, Alex Boyajian from the Chaotically Intolerant podcast. They got a bunch of
A
phenomenal,
universe. Yeah, whatever.
connected universe.
Yeah.
They got a lot of good stuff going on over there. I was just watching his NFL offseason preview before this to kind of try to catch up a little bit with what he's been doing. So go ahead, follow him, like and subscribe. Try to get these guys pump their numbers up. They're good people. So
Yeah, we're trying to hit the 1,000 sub mark too. So I saw you guys were pushing for that as well.
oh yeah, in the hunt, baby, in the
Yeah.
hunt.
Hell yeah.
But without any further ado, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more of the For the Shoe Fridays. Let's get into it, boys. Legal tampering is over. We are squarely in the thick of actual free agency now, and the Colts have made some pretty interesting moves. The trade of Stephon Gilmore for peanuts. I can see both of your facial reactions right now. You're not very happy about that one. I think that had to be a cap-saving move. That's the only reason he was moved like that.
It has to be. Yeah.
Because, I mean, the man is definitely worth more than a fifth-round pick. But
People still say he's overrated. I mean,
yeah,
he's
one of the
still
top
not
corners.
overrated. I don't
You
get it.
essentially got a bowl of like half-eaten soggy Fruit Loops for him. I'm not happy with that. You could have
Although
at least gotten a third. Like, I'm not happy.
Yeah,
And it was to the
this-
Cowboys. That pisses me off even more.
This happens. This happens a lot, honestly, in the NFL, where we'll see somebody traded for like nothing, and we're like, "What the fuck? Why? Why didn't they get traded?" And then that next year, they just fall off a cliff
yeah.
because we didn't know anything. We didn't know about their offseason. So maybe they see something. They saw something last year where they were like, "This guy might fall off a cliff, and we don't want to deal with the contract situation." But that puts Isaiah Rodgers at a starting cornerback position right now. And that makes me excited. I love Isaiah Rodgers.
Yeah, they have some pretty solid younger cornerbacks in that room, and it's going to be nice to see them guys get on the field.
Yeah.
Free agent-wise, obviously they've been doing some cap stuff, trying to move money around and make more happen. Were there any free agent moves that have happened so far that you guys were like, yes?
Matt Gay, because I get to buy that jersey.
Dude,
And Gardner Minshew. I mean, that was the most excited I've been about a free agent in a long time.
Minshew Mania is still running strong, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm actually intrigued by what was his name? I can't say his last name, but Samson. I'm not even going to try. Ibukam, yeah. I'm actually excited about him. Like I liked Yannick Ngakoue, but it's like he was more of just kind of a pure rusher and was terrible against the run. I think this guy is a lot more balanced. So I think we'll have better play against the run. They kind of those outside runs they tore us apart at the time. So
Anybody coming out of
actually
San
intrigued with it.
Francisco, I'm pretty confident with. That they're great at developing D linemen. Obviously, they developed DeForest Buckner, and look where he's at right now. I mean, he's fantastic. So I'm not
And
shocked
that's
that.
how deep they were. I mean,
Yeah.
DeForest Buckner, one of the best, and he was like the third string or some shit. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. It feels like San Francisco is kind of imploding right now because all of their defensive linemen are going other places. Amenahu left, and he was one of their big edge rushers, and they really kind of fell off lately. It feels like, but I feel like the Colts have made some pretty good moves. I'm gonna try to see if I can. There was, they let Paris Campbell walk, which was a good move in my opinion.
I don't know, man.
Well, look,
I
Like,
try to not get my
what was-
emotion involved, but he had a good year this year, and he wasn't hurt too much. I feel like there's a lot more potential there.
how many
and-
years was he with the team in total?
Oh boy, I think he was
Five,
there like
wasn't he?
4 years, 4 or 5 years. He probably played 2 games per year up until this year when he stayed healthy.
They invested so much time into him, and it's just disappointing that he signed elsewhere for like $4 million. You could have brought him back for like 5 or like it's just. I don't know.
He even said he talked to what's his name and to Chris Ballard, and he wanted to come back, and Ballard wanted him back. So there was some sort of disconnect there. I don't know which one it was. I mean, I'm looking at the free agent list right now of who hasn't been signed, and I mean, there's plenty. I think there's receivers you can go out and get to kind of replace that, just based on his lack of availability that we've had.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was alluding to. I mean, he's been there for 4 years. 3 of the first 4, he was basically non-existent. This year, he finally puts together a healthy 17-game season or whatever and has a pretty productive year. But I think that's more of a flash in the pan than it has been proof is in the pudding he's done this year in and year out. Yeah. And I think that's pretty much the only reason he isn't back is while you did have a pretty solid year with subpar quarterback play, doesn't outdo the rest of your career so far. Yeah. So it definitely a prove it thing where did he end up going?
New York Giants.
The Giants. Okay. Yeah.
They poached the shit out of us.
Oh, man.
They're getting a lot. Them and former Colts head coach Frank Reich, they're both picking up a lot of guys.
Oh yeah.
It might be the Frank Reich thing might be just a little bit of a new coach. We're gonna get as many names as we can. Those names might not be as good as we really think they are.
Yeah.
Might be a little personal vendetta there too.
Yeah.
Oh man. But some depth signings: Taven Bryan, Tyquan Lewis as an edge depth, EJ Speed. I mean,
I love that.
Yeah, bringing back some of the guys. I mean, EJ Speed's a special teamer, and he does. He's phenomenal on special teams. It's the only reason he's been around that long. Mm-hmm. So I mean, not shabby. They still obviously need to address offensive line, and I would imagine linebacker is something of need, quite heavily. So, well, I mean, you don't have a middle linebacker right now.
Yeah. I would have loved for them to try and go out and get Orlando Brown. I mean, I kind of I had a feeling the Bengals were gonna throw the bag at him as much as they could. How could they not?
Right.
But I was really hoping they could maybe go out and do that. Did Kelsey sign?
Jason Kelsey?
Has Jason Kelsey signed?
Yeah, he re-signed with the Falcons. Wow.
My big plan was to release Ryan Kelly and sign Jason Kelsey to have sort of a veteran presence there. A lot of those guys need an anchor, or a good offensive line needs a veteran anchor, and I think he would be a great veteran anchor to have, even if he is older. Give him a 3-year deal, maybe 2. He worked with Steichen too. I mean, it made way too much sense for the Colts to actually do it.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty solid move, but I mean, it's going to take an active surgery to remove him from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And that kind of bleeds into the draft topic that I wanted to hit. So, number 4 on the clock, and the Colts are looking where first?
So I don't want to take too much. I don't want to talk too much, man. I don't want to take up your time. You go ahead.
No, I feel like they're leaning a lot more to Richardson. I don't know if I'm all for that, but I feel like that's been the talk. And the dude's super athletic. It's just he has a lot of work to do in the passing game. But I mean, I'm also tired of the veteran quarterback carousel we've been on. So just looking at what Steichen did with Hurts and Herbert and Rivers, I think he can work with anybody. So, and that dude's an athletic freak. So him and JT, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of Richardson at Florida because I'm a kind of a Gators fan at this point. I go to a different college, but I that first game was like, holy shit, this guy's gonna win a Heisman. They beat Utah at home, number 4 Utah coming in there, and then he just wasn't anything. I mean, he could not get the ball down the field. Although he didn't really have any sort of wide receivers there. I mean, he couldn't throw to anybody, so I don't really blame him. I don't buy into the combine whatsoever. It's more of a
popularity contest almost.
Yeah, let's look at fringe players. I think they know with these guys who are first round picks. I mean, they know unless they really go out there and completely suck. Like they are just terrible. I don't know. I'm sure you listened and you heard my plan for the Colts offseason, the master plan that I would have put together. I think they should. There's obviously no Andrew Luck in this draft. I don't think there is. My crazy idea would be trade back from 4, maybe to 7 or 8, which this was before all this stuff even happened, or free agency happened. Trade back from 4 to 7 or 8. Take Skronowski from Northwestern. Just has a offensive lineman name, Skronowski, and that's a perfect offensive lineman name.
Mm-hmm.
Take Hendon Hooker in the 2nd round. I know he's recovering from an ACL, but you tell your fans basically we're punting on this year. This year's going to suck. And if Hendon Hooker doesn't recover well, obviously you get to have Gardner Minshew start. Great for the fans, great money for Irsay. Hendon Hooker doesn't look like the guy. You can wash your hands of him clean. You're going to have a high draft pick next year. And you can take Joe Milton coming out of Tennessee next year, who has one of the best arms I've ever seen on a quarterback. He has a cannon.
He does, but he is hard pressed to hit the broad side of a barn.
Yeah, that's the only issue.
Well, I mean, issue. there was a game where Hendon left last year, probably a couple minutes into the game, or a couple minutes left in the game, and Milton came out and on like 4th down and 10 with like 7 seconds left, he decides to scramble and run out all the time.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to throw the ball into any sort of play. It's little decisions like that kind of annoy me, and that's kind of why I'm not very high on AR-15, because the Florida State game, good God.
He brought him back?
He brought him back, but like, God, they had ample opportunities to win that game, and he just could not. I think it was like 3 straight plays he threw the ball away in the red zone, and I was like, what are you doing? Okay, so 4, definitely the Colts are holding it 4. Do you think there's any possibility where they trade back?
Ballard. I mean, if he feels like he can get the guy later, he probably would. But I even like Will Levis. I mean, his arm strength is ridiculous, though. So that's kind of, I think, what they'd be looking at there. Like, he's got a cannon. And he probably makes, better decisions than Richardson does. So I feel like they're going to stick at 4, even if they're not really sold on it. They have to. I think this might be a boom or bust year for Ballard. I mean, he's had, 7 years? Something like that. And we have, 1 playoff win. So it's just, this might be his last year. I just don't see it being a rebuild, kind of a tank season. I just don't see him buying into that unless if that is the plan. But on a lot of forums people are talking about, this is a full rebuild. He's been here 7 years and been, luck kind of gave us the short end of the stick, but he's been trying ever since, and it's been a miss every time. So it's just except for Rivers. I mean, he had a decent season, but 1 playoff win in his tenure here. It's just I don't know how long his leash is at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim is. I mean, I hate that Jim is getting involved. To be honest, I was never. I always loved Carson Wentz. I know he sucked with Washington, but I don't think he was that bad in Indianapolis. I think he really. People point out the Jacksonville game, and everybody quit. They thought it was Saturday. Nobody showed up then. I don't know why. It was just an emotional reaction. At the same time, you have 7 years. I mean, really, it's like 3 to 4 years for a GM. And Ballard got the long leash. Andrew Luck gave Frank Reich and Chris Ballard the greatest gift of all time, which is job security. Yep. Obviously hindsight is 2020, and if this was me in 2019, I would have said no. You try and go to the playoffs, but Joe Burrow came out the next year. And if you just said, hey, we don't care. Andrew Luck's, Andrew retiring put us in a bad spot. And we know Joe Burrow's coming out and he's the next Andrew Luck. The Colts could have fallen into Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, and Joe Burrow 3 straight times. Again, you can't predict that.
Right.
But it is like, oh man, what did we miss?
Yeah.
I mean, how did we miss that?
I mean, yeah, that's a fair point. I have to agree. Ballard's definitely on a short leash. They don't give anybody a long leash anymore. I mean, hell, the Texans have been through 3 coaches in the last 3 years, and I thought some of those guys were going to have some sort of a leash, but no, just one and
I
done.
honestly thought Lovey was going to be all right.
Yeah,
I really did. I like Lovey.
Yeah.
He's a good defensive-minded coach.
Yeah, and a lot of those games they were in because the defense was doing their thing.
They took the Chiefs to overtime. I mean, that's a win for you guys. That's your Super Bowl this year.
Yeah,
if anything.
Yeah, and you guys beat the Chiefs.
We beat them
in Kansas City.
How we did that. I feel like the Colts just always find a way to shut down Patrick Mahomes at home. Well, shut down Patrick Mahomes not in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. Playoffs, another ball game. That man is. Whew. Yeah.
We can't play in the snow either. It's impossible.
I want to get another guy's input on this because I've been commenting on some things, and speculation. And Curtis didn't even tell me anyone was going to be on the show.
I did.
So I've been speculating because they dumped Gilmore. I think they put I think Buckner's staying now, but I think that Kelly's on the block. Whatever. So if they're trying to clear up cap space, I was speculating what are they clearing the cap space for? So my whole thing was, the Ravens offered Lamar Jackson what was it, $133 million. I see your face, but I'm like, why else?
I'm not against it whatsoever. I'm not.
It would take 2 firsts, but he's 26, former MVP. You know what you're getting, and I don't think the Ravens even really gave him weapons to work with. So I'm like, is that a route that they go down and swing for the fences? Because honestly, I think if this year doesn't work out, it's Ballard's last year. If he goes in a rebuild, I feel like he's signing off on his own termination. So it's like, do we do something like that, or do we just stay put at 4?
I could see. Listen, we steal your franchise and we steal your franchise quarterback. That would be the
petty,
perfect,
so I want to do that too.
perfect thing to happen. I got a couple buddies who are big Ravens fans, and they're just in constant agony because their team is always kind of on the precipice. And it's like, why don't you guys just go into a full rebuild at this point? You guys are always winning 9 games. Maybe, this year they won 10 or 11, went to the playoffs. I'd be fine with Lamar. He was hurt down the stretch this year, and probably one of the most important stretches of his young career. I would assume it's going to be young. I don't know if they want to give up 2 firsts. Ballard is not that type of guy. He's very analytical. I've really never seen him overpay for anybody or anything. The most he was overpaid for is the offensive line, and you can't blame them for their play. They did perform at what he gave them. They were the highest paid offensive line in the league, and for the last 2 to 3 years, they were one of the highest performing offensive lines in the league. I don't blame them for paying. I blame the players for just sucking. Come on, guys.
They were pretty
and
bad.
you can get into the Ryan Kelly thing, and I think Ryan Kelly, I think there's something deeper with what happened with his wife in 2021. It's very sad, and it was the same thing with the DeMar Hamlin thing, where it's that was really sad. Okay, now we got to figure out what the hell is going to happen with this game. It's the same thing. We got to figure out, you're not performing. Maybe you need a change of scenery. Maybe, there's too many bad memories.
Yeah.
I really think they should release him. They need the cap space. Even if they don't want to get Lamar, you still want to get the cap space. So you can maybe sign a guy like Adam Thielen coming out. Maybe Kenny Galladay. Byron Jones is out there. Bud Dupree's out there. Hell, Taylor Lewan. I would love to see the boy on the Colts. I'd listen to their show immediately. I don't listen now, but I would.
Yeah. Oh man, God, that would be cool.
Yeah.
It's I always find it quite interesting when players who have spent a long time with one team go to the in division rival. So when Andre Johnson went to the Colts and then to the Titans, I was like, all right, come on. Can we
I
not?
think the only thing Andre Johnson did for us was the 2 touchdowns against the Texans.
Yeah.
That was a weird year too.
Yeah.
I remember before we got Gore, we got Andre Johnson. I was like, and that was right after we went to the AFC Championship game and Deflategate, and I was like, oh, we're winning this thing. Like, there's no way we don't win. How can we not win? And I remember looking back, and Gore rushed for 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
He was the first one to do it in a long, long time.
It didn't even feel like he rushed for 1,000 yards. I was like, oh, this guy sucks. He rushed for like 500. And I looked back a month ago, and I was like, I was like, there's no way he rushed for 1,000. This has got to be a fake stat or something. But he did. He did.
He did.
All right. So 4th overall, you're saying quarterback for sure. AR-15 or Will Levis? Pick one.
Oh, Will Levis. He dragged that.
No, he'd probably go Levis.
He dragged that terrible Kentucky team to what, like 7 wins?
Yeah, something like that.
That's an accomplishment in itself. I'd still rather them take Hooker in the second. I think he is such a hidden gem. He's aced all of his whatever he's done at the combine. They said he's aced.
Yeah.
He led the top offense in the country to the number 1 spot. I mean, how can you not take a chance on him in the second round?
Right. All right. Well, here we are, pick number 4 in the second round. And we got names on here like Will McDonald the 4th, Josh Downs, Felix Uzama from Kansas State. Is there any offensive linemen you guys think would be appealing at the second pick of the 4th pick of the second round? Got Dawan Jones from Ohio State.
Anybody Ohio State.
Yeah.
They're pretty reliable, I'll say that. Those Midwestern boys.
That's very true.
Anyone else from the Hawkeyes that aren't?
You got a couple linebackers you could do. Jack Campbell from Iowa, Drew Sanders from Arkansas, maybe Simpson from Clemson.
I think that the kid from you say A&M?
Iowa, Arkansas, and Clemson.
Arkansas. I think that kid from Arkansas is pretty good. I haven't seen too much on him, but I've heard he might be one of those little Ballard finds.
Yeah. Well, from what I understand, he's quite an athlete for playing the linebacker position. So, okay. So, offensive lineman, linebacker. What would you say would be the bigger need at pick 4?
Probably lineman.
Yeah.
I mean, like where we're at with Leonard and Franklin.
Yeah, assuming they're going to take a quarterback 4, I would say offensive lineman. Leonard and Franklin are good. I really don't have a problem with Zaire Franklin. I mean, obviously losing Okereke sucks.
Yeah.
But Zaire Franklin very quietly had a great year last year.
Yeah, he did. Especially for being a guy kind of like EJ Speed that was called up and played phenomenally well. Okay.
And EJ Speed, he's not a terrible linebacker. You can throw him in there. I mean, he had a big play against Jacksonville at home this year. I mean, obviously one big play doesn't mean anything for the scope, but he's not a terrible option if you do lose Zaire Franklin or Leonard, which with his history most likely will happen at some point this year.
Yeah.
I hope he hears that and says, fuck you, Alex. I'm going to play every single game and we're going to win the Super Bowl. Do it, please.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. Like, Franklin was, he's our franchise tackle. The biggest thing we were missing was Leonard was like a heat-seeking missile to the football. Like, that's the biggest thing we were missing.
As soon as he came in his first game, he forced a fumble.
Yeah, he has that punch-out thing, and it's like...
And he's such a presence.
Yeah.
The defense just plays harder. They just fly around more. It's like... And, even when he was on the sideline against the Chiefs, it was like, oh, the defense knows he's watching. Except they just didn't keep that up. Or really, the offense fucked him. I don't believe that the defense is bad. I think the offense just fucked him.
Yeah.
You can't put him out there for 40 of the 60 minutes.
Leonard got a pick in the one game he played in.
Yeah.
Look, when he's there, he's a turnover machine.
He's a ball hog, man.
Mm-hmm. You just got to be there.
All right. Well, I think we're pretty well up against it right now, so running out of time. Jeff, thanks for coming on, brother.
Sure.
Alex, thanks for coming on.
Hell
Folks,
yeah.
thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. Go check out the Chaotically Intolerant podcast. Give them a like and subscribe and a follow or notification bells. You're also on Instagram, right?
Yeah, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Twitter, there we go. I do a Tecmo Bowl stream on my old Nintendo every week. As the Colts, I play a full season. I treat it like I'm the head coach. Has the old roster, so it's Jeff George as a starter. Houston Oilers, Warren Moon's there. I don't play him in the regular season, but we're 4-0 right now. Week 5 is on Sunday at 4:30 on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So go check that out. That's a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. You heard the man. Go click the buttons. Go be good people. And folks, thanks for watching. Peace out.